Priti Patel's Rwanda deportations are not going terribly well, as we will explore in this segment. But before we begin, if you'd like to support us, go to lotus.com and learn how Priti Patel is an inferior version of Marcus Agrippa. You think it's not relevant, but I think it might be, because the thing about Agrippa is Augustus was the sort of I don't want to say front man, but it's that sort of thing. Like he was the name behind the beginning of the imperial Roman dynasties. But the guy who got all the work done was Marcus Agrippa. And that's the same sort of dynamic that Boris and Priti Patel have. She's meant to be the hatchet man who's like, right, I'm getting this done. She's been trying to be aggressive about it, but it just hasn't been working. I'll tell you what, Agrippa would have got it done. Go over and check that out. It's really, really good. Link in the description. Anyway, so let's begin. The channel crossings are out of control, and everyone knows it, and it's been this way for a while, which is why the Conservative government like, okay, well, look, we're going to have to start deporting them to Rwanda to get processed and maybe stay there permanently. As Migration Watch have been tracking, this year alone, there have been at least 10,000 people who have crossed illegally, which is 2.2 times the number reported for the same period in 2021. 28,000 and 28.5 thousand came across in 2021, which was, of course, like 3 times more than the year before. So this is just going up and up. And so since January 2018, 50,000 people have come, which is like, right, that's not great. And so the Conservative government were like, right, okay, well, we're just going to deport them to Rwanda, which again does sound like something of a punishment. And I approve of it because this is illegal.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is that these people are breaking the laws with the first action coming into this country. And, you can have as many open borders migration activists waiting there with their signs saying refugees welcome that you want. The fact of the matter is the vast majority of the population, the ones funding the government, don't want these people here.
Yeah, and it really is them breaking into the country. That's the thing. And we've tried everything. We've tried paying off the French government, which didn't work. And so, there is.
So now let's pay off the Rwandan government instead.
It seems to be the only option we've got left, because there's a kind of tacit agreement amongst like the Border Patrol, the police, and various other like institutions in the UK to essentially just kind of shepherd these people in for some reason.
To let it happen.
Exactly. The Home Office, the actual structure, the institution of the Home Office doesn't seem to care. And so Priti Patel is finding like lots of resistance there. And okay, I believe that she is trying to get this sorted and that there is institutional resistance. And so the Rwanda scheme was like the latest in the long line of attempts to stop this. And this seems to have temporarily stopped them. If you can go to the next one. It seems that when it was first announced, there was 0 boats crossing the channel. But the thing is, this may have actually been down to simply a spate of bad weather that coincided with the announcement of this plan, which is what the left-wing NGO crowd have been saying. And
they might have been right about something.
They may have been right, because it seems they appear to have picked up again. So, I mean, this was just in the last week this came up. And so, the week before, 79 migrants were brought ashore at Dover on the Tuesday and things like this. So it seems that these people are still making the trip and don't seem to care that, well, the government's planning to send them to Rwanda. In fact, we have actually something from a lady called Claire Mosley, who is the founder of a refugee charity called Care for Calais. We can go to the next one. This was, can you scroll down to the date? I can't remember exactly the date on this. It was like last month or something. Yeah, in April, right? At the end of April. She says that she spoke to 45 of the migrants in Calais. Again, not a dangerous place, Calais, apart from the migrants.
It wasn't a dangerous place.
85% of them said it wouldn't stop them coming.
Well, yeah, I think that the problem is that for a very long time, migrants have been able to see that no matter what bark the UK government is coming out with, there's never any real bite to go along with it. And I don't know if you've got it in here. Are you aware of, I think it's paragraph 16 of the Rwanda agreement?
No, I haven't actually read it.
Oh, Mayor Tusi, when he was here last week, pointed it out to me, that the agreement that we actually have with them isn't that we're just going to give them migrants and they'll, process them or anything. It's actually a trade between us where we're also taking in refugees from Rwanda for some reason. So this doesn't actually seem to me to be a solution at all. And I think a lot of people might have jumped the gun a little bit, ourselves included, potentially, in thinking that this might be a good thing to begin with.
I'm more than willing to put money on the fact that fewer refugees go to Rwanda to get sent here than come here to get sent
Absolutely, of course. And, we're paying them millions of pounds for the privilege.
Yeah, so this might not even work. It might not even be a good thing. But anyway, the reason that she says that the migrants would say things like, "We've come this far, we can't go home." It's like, what? You're in France, though. Like, you're
safe.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going anywhere, really. Well, you shouldn't be. But anyway, she says this, and this is I found interesting because it gives you a view into the window into the worldview of these people. The essence of being a refugee is that you've come from one of the most dangerous places in the world, and you've come from somewhere you can't go back to. So, okay, I would have thought that refugees all would have liked to have gone home. That's the purpose of being a refugee. It's like, I had to leave temporarily, but ideally I'd like to go back, to where I've come from.
I like that they're putting almost an identitarian sort of framework on this.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an ideal. But the thing is, there are still millions of people in Syria. Like, so why aren't they refugees? Why can they stay there? So this is basically nonsense. But anyway, as Al Jazeera reported, these charities are actively interfering with the plan. Care for Calais, Detention Action, and the Public and Commercial Services Union have all been engaging lawyers to submit papers seeking a judicial review of the scheme and an injunction to block the flight that's going out tomorrow. So, okay, then why is that law still in place, Conservatives? You control the UK government. You are the people who are in charge of what the government does. Parliament is sovereign. You can create, enact, or repeal any laws you want. Get rid of this law. And they've been talking about doing it. They just haven't done it. It's like, okay, well then, they'll say things like, it's vital that new government policies respect and uphold the laws we all have, agree as a society, agree to follow. Says James Wilson, the Deputy Director of Detention Action. Take it away. Take that thing away. Why are you letting him scupper your plan by leaving? And it's probably like the Human Rights Act of 1998 or something that's, the thing that they're using.
Probably.
But the point is, if the law can be used to undermine the territorial integrity of the United Kingdom, change it. You can change it. You're the ones in charge. Anyway, so they're obviously taking action to stop Rwandans from going. And after all of this, even with the government, and this has gone to a court already, and the High Court has said, like, no, they can fly out migrants to be deported to Rwanda. We're a Rwanda Respecter podcast here. Unlike much of the Labour Party, it's down single figures. Like, literally, sorry, not single figures. Sorry, no, it is in double digits, folks. You'll be thrilled to know.
There's at least 10.
No, there's 11.
Oh, wonderful.
11.
Brilliant.
Out of the 49,000
Problem solved.
It's just 11 of them, right? Even though it's legal, even though the government, the High Court has sided with the government on this.
And the problem is as well, the 49,000, those are illegals, right?
Yes.
None of this even solves the problem of the vast amounts of legal migration, which, I thought Brexit was supposed to mean Brexit, and yet we still don't seem any more sovereign than we were before.
No, the Conservatives have in fact brought more people in for some reason. But they were planning to fly out 37 people to Rwanda, 37 whole people, not like half people or anything. But obviously legal challenges relating to modern slavery and human rights claims have drastically reduced that number. Okay.
What does this have to do with modern slavery?
I have no idea.
What are they expecting is going to happen in Rwanda?
I have no idea. But then you get the sort of action from the refugees themselves, and I'm just completely unsympathetic, frankly. I really despise this, right? So as Active Patriot has been sharing this around, a Syrian on the Rwandan deportation list, currently being held in a detention centre, says, quote, "If they try to deport us to Rwanda, we are all going to kill ourselves, either here before they take us or on the plane."
I mean,
I don't want to sound unsympathetic, but it's not my business what you do. Just get out.
Yeah. I don't really care, to be perfectly honest. To sound a little bit unsympathetic.
And also, I don't believe you. I think this is you just ginning up the human rights lawyers and all these NGOs, so they'll be like, look, just tell them you're going to kill yourself, and then they'll have to let you stay.
I mean, the thing is, this is the teenage girl route
Yeah.
to solving conflict. It's saying, I'm going to kill myself
Yeah, no,
if
you're
you
not.
don't do what I want. It's cry bullying.
It is, and I don't believe them either. And there was another clip that was going around as well. They were like, "Oh, since the Russians went into Syria, we've had to flee." It's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, you're in France. Why don't you just stay there and collect French money rather than coming here and trying to collect British money? Because that's why you're here, really. Anyway, there are also massive. Well, I say massive, but like definitely thousands of people involved in social media organizing to actively block the authorities from simply removing illegal people from this country. As you can see here, with a number of foreigners taking part in these protests, and this Reginald Popola, I think that's pronounced right because I've no idea,
Papula, something like that.
because he's an immigrant and also a Labour councillor in London.
And as far as I'm concerned, when I see stuff like this, it is openly treasonous.
Yes.
Anybody involved in this sort of thing, they should get out as well, as far as I'm concerned. What you're doing is you're aiding and abetting criminals.
Yes, you are.
And you're distorting the course of justice.
But they're all there chanting at the police, let them out, let them out. There were like conflicts between the police and the protesters at points. And it was just insufferable because a lot of them are chanting things like, "Oh, we love you." And it's like, you don't know who they are. You love the concept of them being suffering refugees, and you love the concept of being either, like the white saviors here.
Well, do you know what's interesting? Obviously, I'm for anybody unaware, I'm currently reading a book that Carl got that's called The A-Human Manifesto, which is a manifesto advocating death activism and other such nonsense. And there's a chapter in that I had the misfortune of reading through, written in postmodernese as it was, that went over the idea of activism purely as a form of performance art. The idea, she states outright a number of times, because she's doing it all on behalf of the anti-natalist movement, so on behalf of animals, that the activist does what they do without the understanding or comprehension of who it is that they are acting on behalf of, because they know that they have to. Basically just because it makes me feel good to do it. These people don't know these people. They don't know that these people's situation is actively better here than it would be anywhere else in the world. They are doing it almost as a form of performance in the virtue signal way to say, I am a good person.
And you can see that in the looks on their faces. They've got these like weird smiles as if like they know what they're doing is wrong, but also they know that they've got like the whip hand in this situation, as in, we're morally right to be doing this, but you're not morally right.
I bet the fact that there's cameras filming the whole thing that they're doing as well is an extra element to them of being able to say, look at how morally virtuous I am. I'm standing up for the little guy, even though I've no idea who they are. They have no idea who I am. They probably wouldn't treat me well if I were to strike up a conversation with them. We don't share cultural values. We don't share cultural history.
Ask the refugees how they define a woman.
Oh,
ask them about LGBT rights. You might find they're actually a bit turfy and a bit homophobic. Sorry,
oh, you're selling them to me all of a sudden, Carl.
Swap refugees for these people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there were, of course, this was just one protest in London where they were trying to collect an illegal immigrant. This is another one that Joe reported in Gatwick. I mean, look at this. The Home Office of Human Traffickers. It's like the people arrived here through literal human traffickers, whereas the Home Office are actually just trying to enforce the laws of the United Kingdom.
I mean, if we just redefine what words mean, maybe you're completely correct.
It's not even redefining it. It's just being totally complicit with actual human traffickers. Because, I mean, look at this. Is this guy a NIMBY or what? Like, how many refugees do you think he has to live around?
Very few.
Exactly. It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's human trafficking when they go somewhere else. When they come here, it's perfectly fine.
Exactly. Human rights activists chanted "No Rwanda" as they gathered outside an immigration removal centre. Isn't that a bit racist? Like, what's wrong with Rwanda? Is it because it's full of black people? Is that why you hate it? You're looking and going, oh, God, a country full of blacks, they can't be sent there. That's immoral. Deeply racist.
I mean, that's been my question the whole time. When they go, we can't send them to Rwanda. Imagine what they'll go through. What will they go through?
No. I saw one of the Corbynites, Rachel Swindon, had written like an article saying they're sending human beings to Rwanda. It's like
human beings live in Rwanda. What do you think?
Don't they?
I mean, unless you think the Rwanda's populated by animals, you don't think that, do you? I mean,
what
Christ.
the implication is. It's like you can't send human beings to Rwanda. It's like, ooh, if I'd said that, I'd be in trouble. Anyway, so scores of demonstrators were outside the detention center, and the detainees inside were heard shouting, "Help us," and "No Rwanda," in unison with the protesters. "I can feel your pain," one protester cried. You can feel the grift because you're a grifter as well. You're a moral grifter, and they're trying to get our money. It's just so embarrassing that this is all, as you say, so obviously performative. We know you're trapped in there. We are here to help you and to fight for you. You have to be strong. Dude, they illegally broke into the country. They can just go back. They can go to Rwanda or they can go to France or something. They're not supposed to be here.
I mean, there's such naivety in that position as well, which is the first thing they do is enter your country illegally. How else do you think that after that they're just going to start respecting the law?
Exactly. Big law respecters are illegal immigrants. And the thing is, this just makes me think of the Lisa Nandy situation where she was there going, "Oh, refugees welcome." And then after the refugees started harassing schoolgirls, she was like, "Right, can you stop giving us refugees, please?" It's like, yeah, okay, well, you asked that.
I mean, some people need to learn the lesson the hard way, sadly.
Yeah. But I love this. Another sign said, "If fleeing danger is illegal, then the law is wrong." They're not fleeing danger. They fled danger ages ago when they arrived in France, and then they were safe. It's just, what is wrong with you people? And look, you get verified check marks like this on Twitter. Just like, 250 years ago, we transported people to Australia because they were vulnerable enough to steal bread. You can go to the next one, John. Today, we've decided to deport others to Rwanda because they are vulnerable enough to seek safety. How we choose to respond to the needs of others is the mark and judge of our humanity. Oh yeah, the inhumanity. I'm trapped in Calais. People go on holiday to Calais. Well, they used to.
I mean,
you have to pay to go there normally.
You'd think, given the sorts of culture that they come from, that France's grey area when it comes to things like the legal age of consent, for instance, would actually appeal to them.
That wasn't really what I was thinking, but maybe.
No,
they're with the French intellectuals signing those petitions.
Yes,
yeah.
I know what you mean, though. It's not even that when they get to France, they're safe. The second they get into any sort of decent part of Europe, they're safe.
They were safe in Turkey.
Yeah.
Like, Turkey's got millions of them, and they're safe there. And the thing is the war against ISIS not over in Syria? Like, I haven't really been paying attention.
I wouldn't be able to comment personally. I don't really know. But like you said, there are still plenty of people living there.
Yeah, it's just mental. But, like, you know, they're safe in France. Like, I don't know why you think there's some sort of refugee genocide going on in France, but there isn't. And so the question is, why do they want to come here then? Why aren't they happy in France? What is it about here that is so much better than France? I mean, surely it's not the weather, right? You can scroll down a little bit on this one so you can see the captions. Why did you want to come here? He's like, well, look, I've come here for a better life. Because there was war, we could do nothing. There's no war in France, you liar, right? So why here? I can create a family here. Oh, really? Really? So to claim asylum in the UK, to claim a family, and a little bit further in this, he says, well, I heard London is good to work. Right, there we go. You've come for money. No, I heard about London, the UK is good for life to work. That's why.
So it's economic migration.
There's nothing wrong with France. It's not that he's in danger. It's that he thinks he can get money from working in London.
And for all of the evils that I would say are caused almost directly by the welfare state, this being the massive incentive that it is for illegal migrants to come over here, and then the UK government's complicity in just allowing them to do so and not really doing anything. Don't worry, we'll send 11 to Rwanda. There you go. That's one of the reasons that I'm just like, just take it all down.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's from Iraq as well, so he's not from Syria, but who cares? But anyway, that's the point. That's the thing. You know, whenever they're asked, it's just like, well, I just want to come because I think it's going to be more beneficial to me than staying in France. Right. Okay, well, then you're a grifter. You know, you're a chancer. It's like, no, you don't get to come. You get to go to Rwanda. That would be the best thing for the British people. But you don't care about the British people. It's about you. It's about yourself. It's just about claiming money from us. And the thing is, right, you get all of these insufferable leftist activists. And it's like, oh, my compassion, my concern. It's like, yeah, when the British government are doing it. That's the only time you care. Because, say, when the EU was deporting refugees to Rwanda, you didn't care. You didn't even notice. You didn't raise a stink. There was no, like, social media campaign. You didn't go protest at Gatwick. You didn't, oh, refugees, we love you. No, you were fine when the EU was doing it. In 2019, the EU started deporting people from Libya to Rwanda. It's like, don't get me wrong, things are pretty dire in Libya at the moment. But you didn't say a thing, did you? You know, they're not as dire as in France, I guess. But anyway, this was, I mean, literally thousands of them were sent to Rwanda as well. at the time. So, I mean, maybe they'll eventually arrive back here as part of our Rwandan refugee exchange campaign. Who
Apparently
knows?
so. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast Lotus Eaters, you can become a member and find all of our premium content on lotuseaters.com, including the latest article from John Wheatley, Queen Elizabeth the Silent, which also includes an audio track for all of our silver members and above. If you're interested in following John on social media, you can find him on Getter at John Wheatley. Thank you and goodbye.